Hi, I'm Matthew Busel, the author of Game Changer, How Augmented Reality Will Transform the World of Sports. It's just excitement, nervousness. I don't know. I mean, I'm just ready to get it out there and excited to share it with everyone, you know? I mean, the first thing that went through my head was like, no. This is not what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, as soon as you start to explain it to me and like why, and we're not just doing this for show, it made a lot of sense. So I as soon as I got to mull it over for a little bit, it was really obvious that this is something that can really pay off. Absolutely, yeah. So I actually had an idea for a business, and I didn't really know what to do with it. So I brought it to Professor Kester, who I had last semester, and basically said, hey, like, this is kind of what I want to do. What do you recommend? And I was expecting him to be like, okay, reach out to this person or you hire this type of firm. And instead, he said, you're going to write a book. And I left that day just totally kind of floored. But I said, yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go for it. And throughout the past, 4 or 5 months, 6 months? Yeah, I have just been working towards this goal, like we said, that's now a month away. So it's really come together from there. Yeah, so there's really 2 reasons I think that this has been such a good fit. First of all, I'm trying to break into an industry where I don't have any of the 2 major skills that most of the jobs require, so that's designing or programming. But it's something I'm really interested in. And so this has been a way that I can demonstrate that I have knowledge and expertise in the field and basically show to companies that I'm someone that they can hire and be useful. And secondly, because this is such a evolving field, no one really knows what to expect, and no one really is a professional or an expert. So by writing this book, I immediately, I think, place myself in a category of, in a unique category of people that have at least a claim to knowing something. Yeah, so I mean, it started off so broadly, like I'm going to write a book on AR and sports, and it sounds like that's specific, but really it's not. There's a million different ways to go with it. And I think the more that you talk to people and start to just write things down, the more it starts to come together. I was thinking about this the other day, actually. So I was thinking that basically it was almost like I was taking a road trip. And when I started to go, I just knew I was going to go west. And then as I started to drive, I realized, okay, like I want to go towards California. And then from there, I want to go towards San Francisco or whatever it was. And essentially, the more that I went forward, the more things just started to come into place. And it became more obvious where things were going to go. I mean, yeah, first of all, just the whole process was, people were really willing to talk to me. Mm-hmm. When you say you're going to write a book, all of a sudden people respond to emails that normally wouldn't expect. I'm trying to think of my favorite interview. I spoke to one of my favorites. I mean, I spoke to a guy who worked for Microsoft HoloLens, which is like the #1 in augmented reality. He left it and he now started a company called Against Gravity that actually just raised a $5 million round for virtual reality sports type of stuff. So like, he's one of many that were kind of in that same kind of category, but just so cool to hear it from someone firsthand that's like really in the industry and just opening up to someone like me. Absolutely. I mean, it's the cover is really cool. I think when you see the cover, it becomes real in a lot of ways. It was kind of what I had envisioned in my head, and I'm really happy that it came out the way that it did. And so sharing that with friends and family, I think they had the same sort of reaction, that they felt like this is actually coming together. This is going to be real. Yeah, so I would say, first of all, as far as just like how many pages and whatnot, I think the longest I ever wrote was like a 25-page paper, and that was like, oh my god, that's the longest thing I'm ever writing in my life. So yeah, first of all, when I tell people that I'm writing a book and they're like, how many pages? I'm like, oh, like, not long, like 100, 120. They're like, what are you saying? Again, it's like similar to the cover. It was just like, wow, this is all coming together, and I couldn't even imagine that months ago. I mean, for me, like it's such a process where, like you said, you're doing the research, you're doing the interviews, and then all of a sudden that starts to turn into pages, and from pages you get a first like really rough draft that you're just like, oh my god, how am I going to turn this into a full-on manuscript? But you keep on editing, you keep on working, and with your help and the people that have worked on it, it's come together. I would say it's got to be my close friends, but specifically the ones that know technology as well. My friends my family's gonna love it no matter what, because they're biased, and my friends will tell me they love it no matter what. But I'm just hoping that people that read it that really know their stuff will agree with what I'm saying, or at least respect my opinions, which I think they will. I mean, for me, it was the opposite, to be honest. When it came down to it, this was the first thing that I've done as part of school, even though I wasn't technically in the class, that I felt was something that was going to really pay dividends a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. So really, when it came down to what should I be doing with my time, this or schoolwork, the decision was really easy. I'm going to focus on this, because that's really going to be what pays dividends for me. So I wanted to write a book in AR and sports, again, like you said, to help me launch the AR sports company that I brought to you originally on the first day. And so by having this book, I basically feel like, I can get myself into the AR industry, and with a couple years of experience there, eventually make myself at least knowledgeable enough to go ahead and launch that company. Or secondly, if I wanted to, let's say, raise venture capital in that space, I can point to the book as basically a differentiator from probably most other founders in that space for sure, and just across the board. Absolutely. So yeah, I definitely a year ago did not think I was going to be, first of all, in AR, but second of all, in AR and sports, or talking to professional teams or anything like that. For me, it's been an opportunity to talk to people in the industry and have them take me seriously. So since writing the book, and like you said, hasn't even been published yet, I've already been connected to multiple professional sports teams, other professionals working in the sports industry, and that's just something that, like I said, never would have imagined a year ago. Absolutely. I mean, I think with the book, it's one of those things where people start to take you seriously, even within your own circle. So, I think for years my friends have known that I'm interested in startups and things like that, and entrepreneurship. But as far as actions speak louder than words, I think the book is the best symbol. Now that I am writing this book, even before it's launched, people now, like my friends, consider me like the tech guy. And so they're now like, every one of my friends is forwarding me like any article that has to do with VR, AR. So it's cool. Like I've always kind of felt this way, but when you start to do it and get that outside reaction, it's fun, and it's a lot of validation. So I went to CES for the first time this year, so that's the Consumer Electronics Show. So about like 80,000 people converge on Las Vegas. And I basically made it my goal that I was going to reach out to every single augmented reality booth at the place. And in just speaking with people there, they're really AR is so hot right now that they're getting hit by tons of different people. And I went to one AR booth, a guy was selling AR headsets, and we were talking about 5 minutes and just basic conversation, where are you from, etc., what's the product do, and I think he was about ready to move on to the next guy. And then the last question he asked me was, so what makes you interested in AR and in specific? And so I said to him, oh, well, I actually wrote this book and it's going to be published in April. And all of a sudden his face just lit up and he basically just said, oh, wow, like, let me give you a free pair. Like, let me send you a pair of the glasses. And I was, totally taken aback. Told him for sure, happy to take a pair. And just that kind of reaction has not been that unique in the past few weeks or months. I mean, so on that specific day, I'm hoping that, hoping and expecting that a couple, maybe 100 of my friends and family will buy the book and reach out and hopefully celebrate kind of together. As far as a launching pad going forward, I think once it's out and I can start sending it to companies, professional sports teams, I think it just becomes, like we talked about from day one, a tool to use and kind of further my experience and knowledge. And eventually, I think maybe it's 6 months from now, a year from now, a starting point for book number 2. 100%. I mean, I think it goes into kind of just like my friends and family have reacted in that, like, I see myself a lot more as a legitimate voice in augmented reality. I write stuff on Medium now, and like I immediately, like within, a month of writing on Medium, became a top writer on Medium. And you start to just believe in it. It's whether or not 6 months or a year ago I ever thought that this would be true doesn't matter, because it is. I mean, I really every day, like, I feel like I am learning as much as I can about AR. First it was to write the book, and now it's just kind of for fun and to help me with the rest of the career. I mean, realistically, so I basically said to myself going into the school year, like, this is what I'm going to commit to. I just, like you said, I'd always had like ideas and things I wanted to do, but had never actually taken them anywhere. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to commit to. And like you kind of said on day one, committing to something like that is way harder than I think I realized or people realize. So I would have essentially set myself up to either spend a lot of my own money trying to get a developer to build it, etc. It would have been extremely hard to raise venture capital, again, having nothing to show for the fact that I was knowledgeable in the area. Or trying to do it myself and probably petering out after a month. So this has kind of been a way to keep learning about the area that I'm interested in, one day pursuing, and building credibility for when I want to do it. So this actually happened to me like a month ago. One of my friends came to me and was telling me about funny enough, a sports idea of his own, and how he had talked to investors and wanted to do et cetera, et cetera. And I said to him, look, honestly, what you should do is write a book. So we'll see how that goes. No, I mean, and there were definitely like times within the year where I also did not think that. But as you work through it, and the more you learn, the more you talk to people, the content kind of comes and starts to write itself. Yeah, I mean, I would have said to myself, get more words down earlier. I think there's that fear in the beginning of, I don't know what I'm going to say, or I'm not sure that this is the right way to say it. Mm-hmm. But the earlier you can get stuff down, like, nothing's permanent.
Right.
You know, so if I had written more earlier on, it really just would have been more of an advantage, more time to edit it, you know, and just less of a rush towards the end. But ultimately, I think things worked out okay. Hi, I'm Matthew Busel, the author of Game Changer. Game Changer is a book about the emerging technology that is augmented reality and its application to sports. So, I mean, honestly, I think anyone that's interested at all in either sports or technology would enjoy the book. Hopefully, the person that's perfect for it probably loves both. But I think that people will love this book, or people in that category, because it shows how augmented reality is really going to affect the sports arena, which I think applies then to everything else. So in my opinion, AR is a technology that is as big an advancement as the iPhone was in 2007, and the effect that that will have over the next 10, 15, 30 years will be huge.